Hello, everyone. My name is Paul Joseph, and as I have said in my previous videos, I have been in the fashion and beauty industry for the past 40 some years. From my formal training till now, it's been 40. So I created this channel because I want to talk about that experience, but not only my professional experience, but also my personal experience about my life growing up in this business. And, you know, so before we go, I'm planning on grooming myself, getting rid of this. I don't know if getting rid of the beard, or at least part of it. Keep like a goatee or just this part. Um, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe and also um, give me your opinion of what you think about the me getting rid of the beard. Anyways, the this episode has to do with hair coloring. Uh, One of the most important services that hair salons provide for their clients. You know, it's a pretty lucrative service. Depending on how much you charge, I guess, and how many clients you have coming in on a regular basis to color their hair. Um, so let's get into it. So basically, hair coloring. You first of all you need a relationship with your client. You want your client to come back every 4, 6, or 8 weeks to touch up the roots. And when they come in the door, and when they make the appointments or come in through the door, you already know what you're doing, or at least if it's a repeat client or a new client. First thing you do is you sit them down, have a quick consultation. Um, the repeats, you ask if everything's okay, do the same. You want it lighter, yeah, or any type of change. And the new clients, well, same thing. You want to know what is it that they want. Maybe they just want the same thing. Maybe they just want it retouched, and you move forward. Okay. So after that, then you go back to your lab or wherever your color is, and you mix your product. Hopefully, you're most likely working in a salon that already has a line that you've had to learn how to use, and or it's your salon and you decided to use your line that you like the most after many years of experimentation with other color lines. So then you go back to your chair with your client. You prep them, drape them with a towel, put protective around the hairline, and then you go from there. And then you apply. I personally like to apply. I always started on the hairline all around. Do the hairline first. Then I would start up here, even though in school they don't teach us that way. And we'll talk about schools in the future. What our training, or at least my training. You start up here because usually the most gray is like in this area. So you start here, work your way down, and then work your way in the back, work your way down, sections about a 1/4 inch, and you make sure that you go up and down, up and down. I would, go up and then down, just to make sure that it's both sides are saturated. And don't skip on the amount of product. Do it by the book. I used to mix by the book because I was not going to change things. I'm very consistent when it came to that. But anyways, then you put a timer on for, salons usually want you to only process for 35 minutes, but you and I know that it takes a good 40, 45 minutes to process hair color. Okay. And then once that's done, then you send them to the shampoo bowl. Either you do it yourself or you have your assistant do it, to wash the hair and make sure they get all the stains out. And I did use a product that would not put any stains in my, and I didn't have any trouble or problems with blocking the color from going into the hair. It's an oil that I've used for decades, and it never affected the outcome of the color. So once we're there, then we go back to the chair, with the hair conditioned and whatever. And then maybe, maybe other services are performed, like highlights, or maybe then either hair cutting or just blow drying. And once that's done, your client's happy, and that's it. But you and I know that it's not that simple. Because at least my clients, especially in the beginning, they would always, as soon as they sat in front of a mirror, they would go like this, like, and pull the hair almost like they're trying to pull it out of the follicle to see the gray coming out of the follicle, and just to make sure that they got their gray covered, and that was the thing with the clients. So that's why we have to guarantee that we cover the gray. Me myself, the first few years, I had a lot of trouble with that because the technology in color has changed, or had changed since I started till now. Especially with the N series and all that, and choosing the right colors to cover, and not only cover but create a color that they would be happy with, whether it's an ash, golden, beige, reddish, blah 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 blah. So we, and that's pretty much the simple explanation when it comes to color. But how do you formulate? That's after a while, when they introduced the N series, they had the N and double N. The double N is for very resistant gray. I used to use it on thicker hair, and the N's on thinner hair, because as we know, or I know, or I learned in school, that thicker hair takes longer to process than thinner hair, by the mere fact that each strand of hair is either thin or thick. It doesn't matter the amount of hair. It has to do with the hair itself, whether it's thick or thin. So the other issue would be the color brand that you use. I myself, for me, this is a very visual service. I wanted to make sure that the colors I chose, once it's done, once it's processed, I get a nice deep color, acceptable, readable color. There were a lot of lines that I used that I just was not happy with the end result. They look either too translucent, transparent, or they just look cheap. It's like the color just didn't look right to me. And this is all perception, and this is all it's all up to you. My favorite 3 lines at the end of the game were Igora, Schwarzkopf, Majorelle from L'Oreal, and my favorite, would say, out of the 3 would be Top Chic from Goldwell, for a couple of reasons. Goldwell, Top Chic had, as we know, these colors, the professional colors, the more professional colors, are blue-based. The cheaper brands, like the bottle colors and all that stuff, are green-based. That's why you see a lot of people walking around with greenish hair, because they were taught to refresh color every single time, and what happens is that very processed hair will absorb the base color, in a big manner, and this is why people walk around with greenish hair. The other thing is, those colors. The other thing I loved about these 3 colors is these color lines, Majorelle, Igora, and Top Chic, is that they're very believable colors, and I loved the intensity and the deep, like especially the brunettes. Goldwell, Top Chic had, I think it was the 5 MB and 6 MB. Oh my God, those brunettes were, oh my God, they were like, wow, and especially if you use them with 10 volume. That's another thing we're going to talk about, the peroxide thing. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to cover everything here in this one chapter. I think I'm going to have to make a second episode to be more specific about these details about the formulating of color. At least, and I'm giving you my, like again, I'm giving you my experience. Take what you like, leave the rest. I would hope that you subscribe and make comments to in. I want to get some feedback from you. What had worked for you? How do you work? How do you formulate? Because even though I've been around for 40 years, I still think I can still learn a lot. Tricks of formulating and coloring. You know what I'm saying? Or anything, styling, cutting. I mean, that's why I keep myself going to seminars and conventions and hair beauty fairs to see what's out there, new products, new techniques. So, anyways, I was saying the beautiful thing about Top Chic is that Top Chic, being a blue-based color, even their reds are blue based, which it's kind of like a contradiction in terms because blue is an ash color, or tends to be an ash color. And can you imagine a copper red with a blue base? Well, they did, and they were very successful. Cindy Crawford was one of them. Was one who used, can't remember the numbers, but it was a level 7, I think. It was a coppery red, and it was beautiful. But it's, for some reason, when the light hits, it has that iridescence of bluish on it, even though it's a copper. It was very intense. It was really nice. My forte really was the blondes. People commented on the beautiful blondes that I would create, on pretty much any base color. And there are many tricks and ways of doing this. So anyways, what was I saying? So yeah, those 3 colors. Education is, seminars, education, certifying. I've been certified with L'Oreal, Helen Curtis, Rue, Logix. I used Logix was great for a creative mind, and it was from Clairol, and Rue, Fanciful with Rue, and everybody knows about Fanciful, especially people from my generation. These ladies with the blue hair came. They had the rinse. It was the blue rinse for gray hair. So, anyways, I don't want to make these episodes more than 15 minutes. So, I hope I haven't bored you, and but I hope that you're getting something out of it, and I hope I keep you interested in watching my next episode, which would be good. To maybe I can get a little deeper into these details that I've talked about: the consultation, the choosing of the products, formulating, education on color, and other techniques that I've learned. Not only from their companies, but also from the people who I worked. I mean, working with other people. I've done both. I've worked on my own. I've worked in salons. I've worked, and I each one has their own great things. Their benefits to working by yourself is okay, but the good thing is that when you work with other people, you get to learn things. You can inspire them. They can inspire you. All that. So I can't say enough. Please subscribe, support the channel. It'll help me to continue with this education. I want to consider it an education channel for the hair and fashion business. Yeah, we'll talk about a lot of other things. There will be tutorials when I'm able to move into my own place. I can have my own equipment, my tripods with the mannequin heads and hair, and I can demonstrate how to do things, especially with the keratin and hairstyles, cutting, all that stuff. Okay, I'll have human models too, but we'll see. Again, please subscribe. Thank you, and I hope you're enjoying these and you're getting something of it. Thank you. See you soon.